Hello, hello. Thank you for allowing me to share my story. It's definitely a pleasure to talk in front of you all. Been a hard journey, but it's definitely been rewarding. For me, I started out as a young Air Force airman, and I got in a lot of trouble. I mean, my first 2 years, I got in a ton of trouble. I had a chief, a master sergeant, come to me and say to me, Carlin, if you don't shape up, you're shipping out. And from that moment forward, I hightailed it and I knocked out my associate's degree within 2 years. I said, okay, all right, chief, I'm take your word and I'm gonna knock this out. So this picture here is me winning the top junior airman at Grand Forks Air Force Base, as well as winning Pittsburgh Award at the base. I immediately changed. Thank you. And the reason I talk about this is because originally I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I was actually born to a mother that had substance abuse issues. I'm actually a crack baby. So I had to take that leap a lot further. Well, then it may not be politically correct. It's my story and it's my journey. Now, my mother, through the grace of God, made sure that I was fed correctly and made sure to wean me off of cocaine. So I praise her soul as she's not with us. And I do all of this, and everything I do in the future is because of her, Rosemary Johnson. And from there, she adopted me into a wonderful family, the Johnson family. And then I met a man, a Marine mentor when I was growing up, and I wanted to be an aerial gunner. I thought I was tough. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to join the Army. I'm going to be an aerial gunner. Not as tough as airborne ranger, but I was gunning. But so I thought I was tough, but then he changed my track and he said, "Hey, Karlon, you're not an aerial gunner. Join the Air Force." And I was like, "Why not? Why not? Right? Yeah, why not?" Yeah. He's like, and no slack to Marines, but he's like, "Karlon, you were a very sharp individual. You should join the Air Force." I was like, all right. So I went ahead and took I still thought I was tough. And I was like, all right. I took the Army MEPS test, ASVAB. And I scored really high. And then I talked to an Air Force recruiter and he was like, you can do anything you want, man. You can do anything. Like, you don't have to be in the Army. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. And so I chose the career as a data analyst. Vehicle management data analyst. I say data analyst for all the civilians in the audience to make it very clear, because that's also part of the transition. Struggling with the language barrier. So for me, I was really excited about getting out, and I wanted to really jump out really fast and hit the ground running with all of my service skills, because I was in management analysis and data. I'm working in the Air Force. On my resume, they basically were like, I don't know what you're talking about, and like, we don't even know where to put you. So immediately I invested in myself, and I got someone that was able to translate all of my military skills, all of my military abilities. And they're like, Karlon, you're a data analyst, and you got a lot of leadership abilities, and you're outstanding. And this is exactly what you do on paper. So I literally studied that, and when I jumped into interviews, then it became an issue of my confidence, not ego. I had to tell him, like, oh, I'm just being confident. I'm just being confident. And I wore a tie, of course, in San Francisco. Don't wear a tie. Sorry, brother. I don't really mean to point you out. I really don't. But they were like, no, Karlon, do not wear a tie. Do not wear a tie. So I was looked at as this very confident young man coming out of the military, but we don't know where to put you. And so that led me, and actually I'll backpedal a little bit. This is when I became a staff sergeant. I was deployed in Kuwait. While I'm smiling there, I'm actually dealing with a lot. And I want to talk about something very near and dear to my heart. I had issues psychologically with losing my mother, right? Also, my cousin had gotten stabbed at his front door. And I was dealing with this on this deployment. And I knew I had issues, but I decided to talk to psychiatric help. And I believe that's a mark of a leader. Actually, talking to some of the veterans here, I found out they're also seeking help as well. And I want to applaud any of those that are seeking help as veterans because it's really a mark of a leader, and it's nothing to be shy about. I am a leader within my company, and I can talk freely about it, and I know the issues I deal with, and I move forward, and I'm pressing forward, as they would say in the military. And then I transitioned out of the military, and I got a lot of help, got someone to help me write my resume, fix my language, stop sounding like some crazy sergeant, just been out of shape, everything. I got polished. I met this man actually on LinkedIn, and I was in a deployed tent. So that young man in the one you saw before, I'm sitting in a computer, and my one of my best friends, James Goings, actually was like, Karlon, if you want to get out, you should really get a mentor. So I emailed him on LinkedIn. And he responded back, and I asked him a couple questions. I said, I don't want to stay in the military anymore. He said, Karlon, you don't have to. I said, oh, really? I'm going through so much psychiatric trauma. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I can get out. He's like, you can be anything you want. Come to my castle in Scotland, and it's right. It sounds great, but this is actually at a Scottish castle. I'm actually wearing the Johnson kilt, the Johnson tartan there. Yeah. And it took me to a different level of my self-esteem. And he said, Karlon, you already got leadership ability, and you already know how to tailor your language. Now it's to really polish yourself. And decided to do that. Took him on as a mentor for my first year out of the military, and I just ran at companies. Had some issues with some tech companies and the corporate culture there. Then worked with banks. I really liked it because sales. I love sales. Woo! Love sales. So I was like, oh man, that's right. No more just drinking beer and just chilling and like, hey, we gotta hit these numbers. We gotta hit these numbers. So I really enjoyed that transition into private equity and then family office work, what I currently do now. And then, I was still getting polished. Met this woman, Cheryl. Last name's changing to Cheryl Johnson soon. My beautiful fiance who showed up. The last polishing process is underway. So I definitely want to thank her for continuing to develop me as a man. From my military career, it actually ignited my path forward. I think me joining the military shaped me as a man, and I think it changed the trajectory of my life. Not only did my mother adopt me and change that, but learning in the military how to step up, speak publicly, and communicate effectively through executive communication skills definitely shaped me. And I'm very thankful to the Air Force for that. So those all in the audience that are veterans, thank you for your service. All of the civilians that are looking to hire more vets and looking to do more with veterans, just think deeper, look deeper. There's a lot more that we have to offer. Me as an entrepreneur, that was my way to kind of control my path. But there's definitely a lot of veterans that can add a lot of value. And that's really what the game and the goal plan is for veterans, is to provide value and to really make a mark on the world, right? That's what we really all want to do. That's what LinkedIn is doing. I mean, they're doing great stuff. And that's a lot. That's exactly what veterans can provide to your organizations, is that substance and value that you may be looking for, and look no further than a veteran. Thank you.